So, hi everyone, this is Kickstart Ed, episode 3, and today I'm joined by Satya and Carmen, the two creators of BrainBart, and the short pitch is the Netflix of learning, but even better. So, I give it to you guys. What is BrainBart all about?
Right. Absolutely. Like it's so good to be here, and thank you for doing this video for us. BrainBart, it's a knowledge exchange platform for anybody to basically be able to teach and learn. There are too many platforms out there right now, but what we wanted to create was something that's very, very easy to use for teachers to get on. And also that's available on any platform. Like we have probably, like in any family, we have over a dozen different kinds of tech devices, Xbox 360, PS3, iPad, Android, iPhone. We have Android phones, a PC, and a Mac. So, and the world has so many devices. Like, how do you bring and it's not like everyone has all these devices. Like you might use a PS3. I have an Xbox 360. She has an Android tablet. So how do we bring all these different devices together and use technology for the betterment of education? Because that's the only thing that we can pass on to our next generation. Whatever technology that we use today will be obsolete tomorrow. And you see how computers are, getting obsolete every 6 months. You have a new iPad coming out every year. So the only thing that we can actually pass on to the next generation is the ability for them to teach and learn using these technology. So that was the basic idea behind why we started BrainBart. The idea came, I think, about 7 to 10 years ago, when the tablets PC started coming out way back about 7 years ago. I had a Acer tablet that I was using to teach animation and visual effects to kids back then. And I would connect my Acer tablet to a big projector, and then I would project it on a big screen, and I would teach kids, how to draw and how to animate and stuff. And that kind of changed how their interest levels and their excitement to learn, because they would see that I was drawing right in front of them, whether it was writing ABCD or whether it was like drawing a character and animating it. So like seeing someone do that right in front of you was much more effective than looking at a PowerPoint presentation or just someone simply talk. So that was my motivation behind starting BrainBart. And after like 7 years after I got the idea, I travel all across the globe. I worked in India. I worked in Singapore. I worked for Lego Toys in London. Then I finally worked for Disney Imagineering in California. Finally, we are at a stage where we have enough knowledge, and then I met Carmen, who has a lot of teaching background. She had she ran schools in the U.S. She also trained kids across overseas in China. She stayed there for 3 years, and then she trained kids. So we had a common goal, like how do we take the knowledge that we have and how do we pass it on? Like I'm a nerd and then she's an education freak, so to say. So how do we?
Combination, yeah.
Yes, the combination, exactly. So then we started working on it, and initially it was more of a web app, where kids can get online and then teach, and teachers can teach online. But there was still something missing. What are we doing different from everybody else out there? So that's when I kind of ran into Khan Academy. You know Khan Academy, right? So everyone knows Khan Academy, exactly. So, but how do we take Khan Academy to every teacher and student that's out there in the world? Not everyone is able to afford an iPad, which is $600, $700, but the other side of revolution that's happening in India and China is these $35 Android tablets, that it's just the goal for them is to reach 10 million kids this year. And every kid has an Android tablet. And the internet connectivity in China and India is just exploding like anything. It's becoming cheaper. You pay $5-10 in India, you get an amazing internet connection per month, like a broadband, like a 256 or 512 kbps, So how do we take the revolution that's happening there in India, and how do we infuse our, idea into that, and then just capitalize and, exploit that revolution that's happening. So that basically was how we sort of came up with, BrainBart.
Yeah. So one of the interesting parts I found is your, let's call it, business model. So you aim to partner with for-profit education companies like, for example, University of Phoenix, who basically support the teachers on the platform. So how does it work?
Right.
Or how do you plan that it will work?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the most of the platforms that you see that are out there are either independent of the current education system, or they're a part of the education system. They're completely a part of the education system. For example, a university or a college would just build its own online platform, for the education. And that's not necessarily connected with the other institutes. It's completely separate. It's sitting in its own little cocoon, not connected to the outside, other universities. When we thought of, we did a lot of brainstorming, we did a lot of work on this. When we came up with this idea of BrainBart, we were like, how can we use the support of the existing educational institutions? Because if this idea needs to succeed as a business, the one side of it is, yes, we want to teach everyone, we want to get everyone educated, and we want to reach all the parts of the globe. The other side of it is it's going to cost us a lot of money. The VCs, if we want to bring VC or an angel on board, we need to have a solid business plan. So we went on to think about who's going to benefit from this? What kind of data can we get from BrainBart that can benefit, different people? We actually got our inspiration from Mint.com. The Mint.com, that's a financial, website which lets you put up all your data, connect all your bank accounts, and then and it gives you advice and it gives you suggestions, based on, financial status. We said, let's look at that model, their business model is basically, you put your information on the site, you connect your bank account on the site, and you put all your information, and they'll take that information, and then they will advise you, they will refer to you other banks, they will refer internet connection, mobile connections, and stuff like that, where you can save money, So insurance. We thought, can we do something similar with BrainBart? So the idea was, the partners are basically the educational institutions or anybody who is related to education, who has something to sell to the younger kids, who has something to sell to the teachers. Can we extract this information that comes from the students? What kind of videos are they watching? Are they in high school? Are they in middle school? Are they in college? Are they going to go to law school? Because some kids have a very strong passion or ambition. Most of these kids have, they either want to become a lawyer or a doctor or engineer or whatever it is. So they start working from high school onwards, and then, so if we are able to find out what these kids are watching, what these kids are learning, and what teachers are teaching, then we can sell that information. It's not necessarily a bad thing, we can sell this information to the educational institutions by way of them paying the teachers and we taking the small cut out of it. And that will basically support the entire platform of BrainBart. So the kids are getting free education. The teachers are getting paid money, to sit in. It could be somebody sitting in China, somebody sitting in India or any part of the world, somebody who has an internet connection. And at the end of the partners are getting a lot of useful information out of this. One of the research that we did was in the US, how much money each institute is spending every year. Mm-hmm. Every university, what was the number like? It was $200,000. Every institute is spending just about $200,000 just on the online marketing, social media and online marketing. And if you break that down and bring it down to like the bottom, per student, every institute is spending between about $83 to about $180, $200, every student that they want to bring on board. And this is not on face-to-face interaction or live sessions or anything. This is purely on online media, social media and things like that. Yeah. So can we bring that number down? If you are an institute and you're spending $200, we'd say we give you a potential student for $50. This is the I shouldn't even be saying this, but this is the this is the secret behind our business model, So we try and reduce the cost for the institutes. We say not $200 but $50, and they get all this information that they need. What are students watching? How many prospective students from which city can they have? And it gives a better chance for these small schools which don't have 200, 300, 2 million, 3 million budget to be able to, get online and, have a fighting chance to survive. Because at the end of the day, for-profit schools, that's what it is all about. Get more recruitments, get more students so that they can survive.
Okay. So, and how are you planning to then, will there be a screening process for the teachers? Because as the schools are basically supporting those teachers who then edutain or teach those students, I guess they're going to say, well, we want to make sure that those teachers are really good. So are you planning there something to implement to make that?
Sure. Well, there'll actually be a way on BrainBart to be able to rate the teacher, which is really great. So, for example, if there's one particular teacher where I'm like, this is really good, because each student has a different learning method, and the way that they understand concepts and ideas is a little bit different. So if there's one particular teacher I connect with, I'll be able to go back and see the teacher for a variety of different subjects as well. And really BrainBart will be set up so that teachers that do a good job will be able to pay them as well.
So quality basically comes up because students like the content and go back and want more.
Exactly.
Exactly. And this is going to take a little bit of time, for this rating system to build. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, instead of us filtering them out because we're old and what I want to learn is completely different from what a 13-year-old kid wants to learn. So we let them filter it out. Of course, there's going to be a flagging system. If somebody flags a media which is inappropriate or, things like that, we'll instantly, screen it or remove it and, stuff like that. But we'll let the kids decide what they want, and once we start seeing the hits, because there's a back-end analytics that's built into that we're working on BrainBart, like what platform, how many hits, who are watching what from where, etc., etc. Those hits will decide, the popularity of the teacher and the compensation and, stuff like that. Yes.
Okay, great. So I think the project is so far, as you said, you have a web application that's running already, and what are you looking now? I think you want to develop for Android next. Is that right?
Yes. We have the bare bones, that's the web application ready. We're starting to work on the Android and iPad applications also. Initially, we were thinking of just restricting it to Android, but just as a business model, it just makes sense to have iPad, include iOS too. If you want to teach, you need to have either an Android, any Android tablet. It could be a $100 tablet or a $1,000 Motorola Zoom. or you need to have an iPad. These are the two tools that you basically need to teach, right? Because that's important. If you want to put up slides, there are a bunch of other sites, SlideShare or YouTube or just stuff like that. But we want to be able to emphasize on the teaching element. You need to be able to draw on a pad, write on a pad, and be able to teach. And if you want to learn, you can get on iPhone, Android phone, Android tablet, iPad, Xbox 360, PS3, and of course, PC and Mac. So just anywhere available, you can download the videos. They will be encrypted, stored on your device, so that if you are at college, you download them, you come back to your, hostel, or you come back to your ward, and then you can read them, at your leisure.
Great. And those lessons will be recorded, and do you plan to have live lessons as well, or just asynchronous content then?
Live lessons is maybe not now. Right now, all the focusing is on recorded lessons. One of the critical key ingredients is if you are a teacher, sitting in Paris, and I'm a teacher sitting in Detroit, Michigan. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to collaborate with you. Let's say I'm teaching you something called, algebra, for example. You start the lesson and you finish maybe 20-30% of it, and then you give me the collaborator rights. Mm-hmm. I can open up the lesson on my Android or iPad on my tablet, and I can continue from where you left off. And once I'm done, it will be sent back to you saying, it's complete. Do you want to approve it? Do you want to go live? Mm-hmm. Or you can just go live completely. So that's a key element. That's a magic ingredient that, which we think is going to change, how this game is played, because it's not just one person teaching. It could be 2, it could be 10 teachers collaborating together and teaching something, So,
yeah, that's, I think, at the moment, problem if you take a look at YouTube, that you often have quite good lessons that go on for 1, 2, 3 episodes and then they're finished. So you always hit dead ends. So in this collaboration part, I think that's a good idea.
And it comes as one lesson, not 2 lessons. It's just it comes up as one video, not 2 parts of it. So
great idea. Okay, so I think you are raising, or you are trying to raise at the moment, how much? 25,000?
Well, yes, 25,000 in Kickstarter. But the other side of the story is we are pre-selling the app on. There is a site called App Backer. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's appbackr.com. And we've sold, we've been there for 4 days now, and we've sold over $1,100 worth of apps.
That's great. Yeah, I think Kickstarter is pretty good when you are working on a physical product, because they always get much attention and also good backers. But for apps and stuff like this, it's always a bit tricky, I think, on this platform.
I mean, if it's a game that works out pretty well, if it's an game or a PC game or something where you can get a copy of the game on a disc. But when you're talking something so abstract, we've realized that it's a bit difficult on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. But Kickstarter was sort of a stepping stone for us. We've had so many angels get in touch with us after we put it up on Kickstarter, and then we went to AppBacker, and everyone saw the video, and it's acting like a marketing tool for us. Everyone
Absolutely,
wants.
Yeah. So great. Glad to have you today on the show, and we will definitely watch what you are doing, and then have you back in, let's say, 2 or 3 months and see where you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for doing this
video. Thank you so much.